Warning, the following transmission contains the opinions and views of Jordan Productions. These views and opinions are his and his alone, and don't represent anybody but him. Thank you. Eat applesauce.
Every summer, my family would go to the interesting state of Pennsylvania, full of rolling hills, small towns, and pretzels. Since I've visited that state a lot, I got stories. That's what we're going to do on this inaugural broadcast of JP. So yeah, here we go. When I was growing up, my family lived in the South, so we had to take a very long, hot, and boring drive from there to Pennsylvania. As you can tell, a totally good idea with a bunch of rowdy young kids. Because my parents would need superpowers to pull an all-night drive, we stayed in different hotels throughout the journey.
In the ancient days of 2005.
We stayed in a Country Inn & Suites in Minnesota, and they had a rad book program going on. Somehow still surviving today, apparently. It was a lending library program where you would take out a book, keep it for a while, and then return to the hotel. Oh, how Country Inn & Suites should not have trusted a young Jordan with that kind of power. I was obsessed with the then new version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like seeing it multiple times in theaters obsessed. So I picked up the original novel, but we didn't end up returning the book because we completely forgot that we still had it. Yeah, I don't think I even finished this book, and we ended up leaving it behind every time we went back to Pennsylvania. So, since I'm not returning to a Country Inn & Suites anytime soon, I'm stuck with it now. Forever. Probably. So why did we take this extremely long and perilous journey to Pennsylvania? Well, it certainly wasn't to find the Holy Grail or anything. That no one knows of, at least. Rather, it was to do fun things, more on that later, and visit my grandfather. He lived in a small little house in Minersville, letting us stay with him over the summer. It had all sorts of things that really entertained me as a kid, such as secret compartments that were probably portals to Narnia if I went far enough, and a creepy basement, more haunted than the mansion from Scooby-Doo. My grandfather was more awesome than these things. He served in the United States Army during World War II, and therefore would tell me war stories filled with heroism, all while laying down on a couch that, we should have gotten rid of in hindsight. When he wasn't telling war stories, we would watch baseball together on a television from the Stone Age. My grandpa was a big fan of the Phillies, and despite the fact that I don't watch baseball at all, I'm one too out of respect for him. And nobody will tell me otherwise, cause I will bloody... I was easily scared as a kid, so it might be surprising to learn that I was a flipping adventurer when it came to roller coasters. As long as I met the height requirement, I would always ride some of the craziest coasters at Hershey Park, Dorney Park, and Knobles. Yeah, I think that's right, Knobles. Except one of them. So my family was walking down in Dorney Park, and we saw the station for a roller coaster called Possessed. This was a coaster that would launch forwards and enter a vertical spiral, and then go backwards into another spiral. I had never seen a coaster like this before, but my younger brother somehow convinced me to go on. As we walked through the zigzag of chained ropes, I saw the coaster take off, and then I was just like, nope, 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 no! Yeah, I ended up chickening out while my younger brother went on it, but my parents did allow me to play a midway game or something. Pretty sure I lost, but whatever. Continuing with Dorney Park, another day my brother and I were on a roller coaster called Talon, the Grip of Fear. That was actually a very accurate name based on what's about to happen. So normally, when the coaster slows down, it's supposed to make a right turn and then return to the station. But this didn't happen. Instead, our vehicle just sat at the brake station. We continued sitting there with nothing happening. It was probably 300 degrees Fahrenheit that day, and my 12-year-old self was starting to become one with the sun. Not only that, but it was so quiet from the lack of activity that nobody could hear you scream. Well, that's not true, but you get the idea. After what felt like 50 million years, they finally went down to the vehicle using the catwalks. Alright, that usually doesn't happen, but I guess it's alright. A little while later, they told us we needed to evacuate. We had to exit the vehicle and use the catwalks to get back. As we walked the extremely high catwalks, I remember telling my brother not to look down. Then I looked down. Great role model, I know. Anyway, we eventually made it back to the station without incident, with Mom waiting at the exit. I remember my mother hugging us as we exited, and promptly banning us from ever going on the attraction for the rest of the summer. On the bright side, they didn't give us a free game or something as compensation, so I ended up winning a Smurf plushie out of the ordeal. His name was Fred, and he was magical. So that's some of my Pennsylvania stories. I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. It's something I would like to do more going forward. What would you guys like to see me talk about next? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. Also, if you really did like this, why not give it a like? Or even better, become a member of the Jordan Productions army by using that conveniently placed subscribe button on the screen. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all on the flip side.